we are going to make tools to improve our cup form. So to complete this activity, you need to have done all the previous stuff, specifically the last one where we made a little paper form and covered it in clay. So I'm going to get that out. Hopefully yours should be in your locker on the shelf. It should be in a plastic bag. It should have a loose knot tied in it. And hopefully when we open it up, it will still be leather hard or wetter, okay? Now, hopefully you let this sit overnight or a little bit longer. What happens is that the paper core tends to kind of soak up a little bit of moisture and it shrinks down a little bit, it compacts, and that's actually a good thing, all right? So if for whatever reason that's not the case, we do want to make sure it's nice and firm and compacted. Now, we have hopefully tried to produce a shape that's kind of like our little practice baby shape that I approved, and also matches our cup reference, which you should have saved with the assignment, all right? So the cup form is widest at the rim, or the part that we would drink out of. It is narrowest at the foot that would touch the table. Remember that we're making the little cup form upside down with the rim on the table, and it's going to stay like that. So please don't put the thing on its side and roll it, or turn it upside down and try to flatten the top, the base here. I want you to keep it in this position for the whole time we're making it. Now, today we are going to make some tools to improve our work. So let me shrink this image down and get it out of the way. All right, so I've got a big piece of poster board here. These are typically underneath the paper cutter, the wooden paper cutter in the classroom. So you want to get one of these. I folded it in half like a hamburger, and I'm going to cut it down the middle. And we're going to make several different tools with this one piece of poster board. So make sure to keep all of the poster board nearby. So the first tool that we're going to make is a guide to help us make the bottom part right here that touches the table really nice and round, okay? So I'm going to kind of loosely, quickly trace it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Notice, I don't know if you can see that very well in the camera, but it's not even a full circle. It's just kind of a dotted line here. Now, I've gone into closet number 1 and gotten a compass out, and there are several types of compasses in there, but this is probably the best kind. It looks like a little round circle, and it's got a nut here that tightens it. It has 2 slots around the circle, all right? And some of them still have this pointer in them. That's a good one to get. If it's ever missing that, you just get a second pencil or a colored pencil or a pen and stick it in there. You need to have a pointy thing in both of those areas. You want them to be about the same length, and then you're going to tighten the nut just a little bit. You don't want to tighten it really hard. So we want to use this compass to make a nice circle on our paper. And so I want the circle to be about the same size as my tracing here. So I'm going to try to size it out. You can do this whatever way you want. What I'll show you is that you hold your fingers here on the part that's stuck in the middle. All right, so whether that's the pen thing or it is a pencil or whatever, put your finger on that one. And what I like to do is lean the compass and turn the paper, is what I typically have a better, easier time with. If that's not going to work for you, you can definitely turn the object. Now, when I look at that, I say, that's actually a little bit bigger than I want, so now is the perfect time to redo it before you've cut. I'm going to show you the other way now. So I'm holding the middle piece and using both hands to kind of work that, but I'm trying to keep the middle piece in the center, obviously. There we go, I like that one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this one. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want to do a nice job, or at least an accurate job. And then I'm going to write my name on this. All right, and I'm going to also write the word template, Template. And I want you to, when we're done for the day, this is going to go into your locker and it's going to stay in your locker in case we need to make a copy to use in class. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to make a copy of this circle. So I'm going to trace the circle and then cut it out again. So one of these is going to go under our locker for safekeeping. The other is going to become our daily tool that we use and we keep with our clay. The reason why we do this is because the clay tends to ruin paper, because it's moist, it's got water with it, and it will get soggy, or it might even get moldy and we have to throw it away. So we want to plan for that instead of, having to make up something later because we didn't prepare. Okay, so now the sculpture goes on top of that little circle. They should be similar in size. Hopefully, if you did your job right, they should be similar in size. So we've got one more tool to make, and this tool is going to be like an archway. It's going to stand over our cup like this. Okay, so I'm going to take this other piece of poster board and I'm going to fold it again in half like a hamburger. And then I'm going to stand it up behind my piece here. And I'm doing it facing you so you can see it in the camera, but you obviously can do it facing you so that it's a little bit easier. You can also get a person to help you do this so that it's a little bit easier. So I've got it, this center line is about in the center of my cup form. I'm going to have it, the pencil straight, and I'm going to kind of trace it. I'm going to kind of try my best to follow the shape down to the side there. So I'm trying to kind of transfer the shape onto my paper. Okay, so remember, this part right here is the part that will, if we think about this one, it'll be touching the table eventually, and the top here, because everything's upside down, right? This is going to be where we put our mouth, okay? So we want the part that touches the table, which is called the foot. I'm going to write that on here. We want the foot to be flat, all right? And we also want it to be the narrowest. And we want the rim, which I'm going to write on there, to be the widest, all right? So I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting to my drawing to make sure it fits those requirements. So I'm going to flatten this. So I'm going to make a nice straight line, and I'm going to look at that to make those parallel. And then I'm going to kind of make this line a little bit neater. If you think back to my example, or my reference, my reference has a little detail at the bottom right here that my general thing doesn't capture, so I'm actually going to draw that on right now because it kind of steps in like that. But remember, this is the narrowest part. Oh, I gotta bring it on the camera so you can see it. This is the narrowest part, and this is the widest part, okay? So now that I've got that, I'm going to leave my paper folded. Let me get the cup reference out of the way. I'm going to leave my paper folded, and I'm going to cut along the line. All right, so we have two tools here that are important to us. We have this positive, and then we also have this negative cutout, all right? And remember, like I said, it was like an arch. Here's our archway. So I'm going to write my name on this. And I'm also going to write template on it. All right, so my name and template once again. And this is just like the little circle. I need you to make a copy of this. It looks exactly like this piece, all right? The other piece, actually, everybody thinks that we're going to save this part. That part doesn't matter. We can throw that away, okay? The archway, is what's really important because we're going to stand that archway up over our cup form and use that to help us add and remove clay, which we'll cover in the next video. So once you have your templates made, please bring your templates and your cup form over and show it to me. Make sure we're on the right track, and then we'll move on to the next thing.